If you're an investor in Japan's real estate market, you know that the macro data is everything. Today, we're going to dig into the latest construction stats for September 2025. And trust me, there's a huge trend hiding behind the main headline. So let's dive right in. So, at first glance, the main number that the government released looks pretty good. You see it and you think, okay, the construction sector is growing. That's usually a great sign of a healthy market, right?
And here's that number. Total construction output was 5.08 trillion yen. That's a 1.5% increase compared to last year. Now, a positive number is a positive number, or is it? This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, because for anyone actually buying or selling property, that top-line number doesn't even begin to tell the whole story. In fact, when you look just one level deeper, a completely different and frankly, much more important trend starts to emerge. Okay, so let's break this thing down. To really get what's going on, we need to pop the hood on that 1.5% and see what's actually powering this growth. So the whole construction industry can basically be split into two big buckets. You've got the architectural side, that's the stuff we think of, right? Houses, apartment buildings, offices. And then you have civil engineering. Think roads, bridges, big public infrastructure projects. And here is the big twist. It turns out that a massive surge in civil engineering is propping up that entire headline number. Meanwhile, the architectural sector, you know, the part that actually creates the real estate assets we invest in, is actually shrinking. So let's zoom in on what really matters to us as investors, private sector construction. This is the data that shows what private developers are actually putting money into building, and maybe more importantly, what they're not building. Whoa, okay, just look at the contrast here. You see that monster 21.7% jump in private civil engineering? That's things like land prep for new factories. But then you look at the actual buildings, residential and non-residential, they're both in the red. And this is probably the most critical number on the screen for the housing market. The supply of new residential properties is actually going down. Construction for homes and apartments fell 2.9%. To put it simply, fewer new places to live are being built. Period. And it's the exact same story on the commercial side. The creation of new offices, shops, you name it, it's also down by 1.2%. The trend is crystal clear. We're seeing a real slowdown in the creation of new real estate. So, the big question is why? Well, the analysis points to a couple of familiar problems. We're talking about sky-high material costs and a major labor shortage that just won't quit. It's just getting really, really expensive and difficult for developers to actually start new projects. Okay, so let's put it all together. The headline number looks okay, but it's hiding a real decline in new buildings. So what's the bottom line? What does this actually mean for your investment strategy? It all boils down to a really basic economic idea: scarcity value. You know how it works? When there's less of something to go around and people still want it, its value tends to go up. And that is exactly the picture these numbers are painting for Japan's property market. So here's the key takeaway for us. The pipeline for new apartments and offices is getting smaller. That directly increases the value of the buildings that are already standing. So if demand stays the same, this supply squeeze could start pushing up the prices of existing properties. That means the two things you absolutely have to watch are construction costs and the labor supply. And that really leaves us with the big question going forward. The data is clear. The supply of new buildings is tightening. So as you look at your own portfolio or think about your next move, you have to ask yourself, with fewer and fewer new buildings on the horizon, where is the value of today's properties going to go tomorrow?